This week on DWF News. This week, we're going to be having a discussion about the French Yellow Vest movement currently happening in France right now. We're also going to be talking about the idea of a global Green New Deal. And then we'll finish up with a discussion focused on my take on a World Federalist Party. On November 17th, French citizens wearing neon yellow and greenish emergency vests organized what started as demonstrations against the French government's implementation of an increase on fuel taxes on consumption. After a violent response from the French government and the death of some protesters, the demonstrations quickly turned on President Macron and became focused on what the Yellow Vest protesters see as Macron's failed neoliberal economic policies. The increase in fuel taxes became connected with the number of economic reforms the president endorsed, with him falling in the latest political polls down to the low to mid-20s. It seems that the French president's political capital he gained during the past election is quickly fading. These protests, like many today, started on the internet and social media. This protest started in March 2018 and blossomed into a new left-wing movement in opposition to the centralist administration in office. In the end, the Yellow Vest movement would find multiple victories as President Macron rolled back his increases in consumption taxes, and he would also increase the federal minimum wage rate. Macron, a president once seen as the beacon of hope which could pull Europe from the brink of returning to a continent plagued with nationalism, now looks like the epitome of neoliberalism in the West. In a speech on December 10th, President Macron promised to
I ask the government and parliament to do what is necessary so that people can live in better conditions from their work. The salary of workers will rise by €100 per month from 2019 onward without costing anything more to the employers.
and to
Overtime should be paid without taxes and without charges, and I want a real improvement to be perceptible. That's why I will ask all employers who can to pay an end-of-year bonus to their employees, and which will not be taxed and will not generate any social charges.
Now, as his second election approaches in 2022, he must figure out how to unite a nation divided between the left, the right, and the center. What's interesting to me about the Yellow Vest movement is that we're seeing people organize together in ways we haven't seen before. What once started as a local movement and a national movement is now becoming a global movement. I mean, this all connects with the World Federalist idea that we need a world federal government, that the issues no longer can be solved locally because we live in a globalized civilization. And hopefully this movement will push us further to a planetary civilization, because I frankly believe what the Yellow Vest movement is fighting for cannot really be solved in France. The problem goes beyond France, it goes beyond the EU, it also goes beyond the US. The only way we can get beyond this is by working together in new ways. Large corporations around the world, which we call multinational corporations, conglomerates, they work on an international level. As long as the working class and the everyday person doesn't work together in the same fashion, we will never get our freedom and our right to justice. Economics are the glue to a society, and without a strong economic system that is rooted in fairness, then you will continue to see more movements like this pop up all around the world. My question for you is this going to expand into a global movement for real, bringing all the people of the world together? This week on DWF News. Hey, welcome back. Now let's talk about an idea that's having a reemergence. That's the idea of a global Green New Deal. This is not new. Like I said, it's having a comeback. The idea that we need to have an economic plan, economic package, economic policies, reforms that go throughout the world creating economic growth. Now, plans in the past that have a connection with this would be like President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal, the Marshall Plan that was pushed by President Truman. Also, we have the New Deal that was pushed by President Obama, also known as the Reinvestment Act. And then we also have seen these ideas floated in countries like China, President Xi's recent 5-year plan. Now, economic deals, economic packages, these types of policies are rooted in a left-wing philosophy. The idea that government spending can then influence consumer spending, leading to overall economic growth, the growing of the economic pie. But what makes this particular deal we're talking about different is that this deal must be global, and this deal also must be green, meaning it must influence a new energy system, cutting back on greenhouse gases, pushing us towards climate change. Okay, now what also will make this deal different is that this deal also has to do a lot of reforms regarding basically the globalization, the global financial markets, and really putting multinational corporations back in their place and making sure very, very wealthy individuals are paying their fair share in taxes, no matter what jurisdiction that they're in. Now, the only way we can accomplish this is by basically coming together, all the countries in the world, and promoting this idea together. Now, also, this plan just can't create random jobs. It has to be driven by innovation, advanced technological innovation. Let me make that clear. And it also has to be pushed towards this new society, this new economy we have that is mostly based in online technology, and also this high tech, biotech, also advanced human augmentation with technology as well. So let's get into it. Climate change and economic crises seem to have become the key problems that global citizens are pointing to as the 21st century is pushing further into chaos. What was once dominated by the fears of nuclear war and the spread of disease is now being replaced by economic and environmental calamity. These issues are especially important to younger people, as they know these are the problems they will have to face in the future. So what is the DWF's answer? A global Green New Deal. Global, because we need an economic program that stretches out to every corner of the world. Countries in the southern hemisphere, in the third world, must be provided with capital and educational resources. What this does is start to build trust between the nations and will create further cooperation in the future. Next, the program must be green. What that means is the program should implement sustainable development and ecological awareness, an economic plan that would develop renewable energy resources all over the world and place long-term battery storage that would capture all the energy produced for later use. Investments in advanced recycling technology and the development of local recycling corps to clean up the beaches and oceans, creating millions of jobs around the world. Investments in self-sustaining indoor farming systems and meat cloning technology, which could not only end mass livestock waste but also the killing of innocent animals. Then let's go far as possible. We should also invest in technologies that can reverse climate change by capturing carbon dioxide from our atmosphere and turning it into renewable, environmentally friendly energy sources with zero emissions. There has to be an economic plan that offers a new vision for civilization. This plan must restructure the global market but present economic reforms that puts multinational corporations in check, but also regulates the global financial system. It must also include investments in space exploration. The galaxy is full of planets with no life and are rich with natural and exotic resources. But the interesting thing about this promising idea is it helps to solve many of the geopolitical problems we are facing today. It allows countries like the US, EU, China, Russia, and others to work together on more projects leading to human advancement instead of pushing humanity towards extinction. The idea for a global Green New Deal should pose one question. If humanity can work together to form the 21st century planetary civilization, then what will that future look like?
This week on DWF News.
This week, I'm going to be starting a new segment and it's called My Take. It's going to be my take on certain topics and issues from a World Federalist perspective. So, we're going to start off the discussion with a World Federalist Party. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote an article titled, "Do We Need a World Federalist Party?" At a time of economic crises where the world is divided by immigration, religion, and also lifestyle differences. At a time when the world is on the verge of a far-right reemergence in Europe. When Russia is tampering in elections all over the world, and also the United States using the internet and social media. It's time we develop a World Federalist Party. One that stands for all the ideas of world federalism. Bringing together the world, opening up the borders, creating a brilliant immigration system, and a strong global economic system where everyone is given a fair chance and is provided with opportunity for success. The possibility of actually challenging climate change, proposing strong ideas for labor rights, human rights, and also the rights for women. I strongly believe the only way we can accomplish this is by creating a global political party, one that reaches every corner of the world and strengthens our ties, one that looks at the things that makes us stronger and makes us better people and doesn't really focus so much on what makes us different, things like skin color, beliefs, lifestyle, culture. This is my call right now. A call for a World Federalist Party. A call for true federalism. And I believe strongly, if you are a true Federalist, a World Federalist, then you believe in promoting this idea. You believe in coming together and promoting the idea of a world federal government.
This week on DWF News.
Okay, that's it for this week. Hope to see you next time when we'll have another strong discussion about World Federalist ideas and how we can go further. And I want you to remember one thing, that the world can only be changed by us and no one else. And when you start to believe in yourself and we start to believe in we the people, that's when we can create a world that is better for all. Thank you and have a good day.